What's going on, traders? Welcome back to day 11 of 25 days of trading. I appreciate you tuning in as always, and make sure to subscribe so you don't miss future uploads every morning at 11 a.m. all the way through Christmas morning. The next day's video will be posted. And if you missed the previous 10 days, make sure you go back and watch those after you're done with this video. I really appreciate it. Make sure you like it, subscribe, and share with a friend if you found value in it. But today, we're going to talk about pivot points, more specifically, my anchor VWAPs of where I put those anchors and how I move them around throughout the rest of the day and how I find my trades, right? Obviously, I discussed it in my Futures 2.0 course on ASFX TV, but we're going to go into my walkthrough throughout the day as more information comes in, kind of like a play by play of how to navigate the trading view charts and how am I going to select the trades that I take. Let's get into it here. You can see on trading view, we're looking at the regular trading hours where we're only going to see the price action from 9:30. So now with that, if you go to your indicators, I have it favorited. It's going to be VWAP auto anchored is what you want to search. That way, it's just going to start it off automatically for you at that 9:30. You don't have to place it there yourself. Then on top of that, we have the levels here, opening range high and low. That's in the course. That's with Edgeful. We don't need to talk about that in this one. It's just all about the VWAP placement. So first things first, just talking about the first trade setup of the day, right? I really like this one. That if you've seen the course, and hopefully you have on ASFX TV, I don't want to buy this first break outside the opening range high because it often doesn't run just from there. I'm looking for a pullback because what we jump in mid candle, now we're long up there. Where does it stop? Go right here, and now we're stopped out for no reason, and it does go higher. So just a quick strategy tip: not chasing the first one, seeing sellers step in for a little bit, but then buyers defend the New York view up, saying, no, we are actually here. Buyers push us back up the second time. That's what I'm getting in long, right? It's pretty much the same prices back here, but I'm now avoiding this dip and avoid getting stopped out. So after we break out of this high a day for a new high a day, right? Because if you put in an anchored high a day view up there, you can see it's broken. So that one's gone. It went. That's a nice winner. But now we're outside of the range, confirming my longs. Okay, nice. So it's not until this point, once we see it to start to pull back around here, will I then go to this high of day and place the high day view up, right? There's no point in having a high day view up on that candle. Okay, the next one. Okay, made a new high day. Let's move it. Hope it made another new high day. Let's move it, right? It's just, I don't need to place it until it pulls back, saying that might be our high day for right now, right? Makes sense. And obviously, if you have the Lux Algo VWAP from ASFX, same thing. Go to my invite only, the automatic VWAP. It'll do it for you. It'll move that high day as new highs of days are being made. You don't need to do anything manual. But if you're going to manually do it like I do sometimes, then this is the way I go about it. So with the new high day now set here at 10:38, we see a small pullback. Your first potential long is there on that break of high day, right? But not being hindsight bias, I don't love those just because there's all this gray space in between our key levels of the opening range high and that New York view up down here in black. So could you take it? Could it win? Could it drift higher? Absolutely. I'm just being picky with what else do I want to see besides just the high day view up break, right? Can we be off a key level like we were down here? We bounced off New York. We're now breaking outside the open range high and a high day view up break. That's a lot better than just simply a high day view up break up here, right? That's how I add the layers to get me more picky. So I'm not just taking every single high day view up break every 6, 7 minutes, right? Because then you're just going to take too many trades and probably more losses than you need to. But the high day is still going to be from back here at now 11:07. So we pull back to New York here. We get another higher low here, but here's our nice full retest to that New York view up later on in the afternoon. It's still the same high of day view up, which one note I will give you guys. I don't love that the high of day view up is at 11:08 over here on the left, and we're still using it over here at 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, really. That, well, if that's really strong bullish trend today, why haven't we made a new high day since 11 o'clock? It's been 2, 3 hours. Where have the buyers been, right? Because we did take the high day view up here, didn't have the strength to make a new high, didn't have the strength to make a new high, didn't have the strength to make a new high. So now that it happens the fourth time, I'm going to believe that, oh, now's the time where we have the strength to make a new high a day. Not necessary. So I don't love that. But just keeping it simple with this video, this is how I would anchor the high a day. The New York is underneath, trading my key levels that the break above with a stop loss at structure of a key level retest, this one wins no problem. These ones aren't quite off the key level, so maybe that's why it wasn't ready to pop yet. But regardless, that's how I would place my high day with the New York. But now let's go back and do another example on what just happened just this past Friday. All right, so let's keep it here now. You can see the regular trading hour starts on Friday, the 9:30 that New York VWAP is placed. So same thing of that point I made earlier of I'm not just anchoring a high day here and then again in another minute and another minute, right? I'm just gonna see the high day kind of be set. But I'm not even gonna place it here realistically because then it gets taken out 3 minutes later. I'm not interested in long in that, right? Because there's all this gray space between that and the key level. I'm not buying it way up there. So once we really maybe set in the high up here, then I'll look for a pullback to my key level. And we finally get that nice, beautiful retest to New York. Open range highs a little bit lower, but it's a nice retest to New York nonetheless. And then buyers step in the second time. Same thing this week. Not really just running right off the bat. You got to give it a lot of time. But the stop is never invalidated because you're below the New York VWAP. You're building nothing but higher lows, just kind of similar to the markup we just went over yesterday. If I clean this up, the high day break here didn't have the strength to make a new high. Didn't have the strength to make a new high. Didn't have the strength to make a new high. It's not until the fourth break back above the high day did we finally see enough buyers to pop us higher. So it's just a very slow, choppy week. So that's just what the examples are going to be for this video. But realistically, yes, that first break of this high day, like this, is the one that runs for us. But this week it was a little bit slower, very slow volume and volatility. That you had to be a little bit more patient. Tighter stops were the ones working out. But just overall, that's how I'm using that high of day. But we could even take it to a 15-minute. Now with the 15-minute, how I'm placing my VWAPs is I am looking at the electronic trading hours. So now you can see the price action 24/5. You could just see that from the changeover at 6 p.m. all the way to where we are heading into the session. Where if I was looking at regular trading hours and you see these regular or open range high and low, that's where 9:30 is. So that's when we're on the 1 minute. I'm seeing just from there to the right. But on the electronic on the 15, I'm seeing all this pre-market data because I do want to use that daily VWAP here in black. So it's the New York VWAP on the regular trading hours just from 9:30, but then I'll call it the daily VWAP when it's from the whole day. And I still want to be trading longs above that, shorts below it, right? So when we're long above that, here at the open we get a nice pop at 9:30 candle higher. One other VWAP I will use is yesterday's 9:30. So yesterday's New York Open. You can go back and manually put it if you don't have the automated VWAP like I'm saying. I make that dark blue. I want to also be above that when we're looking for longs. Okay, nice. A little pop there at the open brought us above that. Beautiful. We could even take it to the 1 minute on the electronic trading hours if you'd like. And now you can see kind of a different story, but not really about, yeah, I was definitely looking for longs into the open because look at the higher highs and higher lows that you could even put a VWAP on a specific news candle. For this one, it's going to be NFP, which was at 8:30 on that day. And I'll turn that one yellow, all my news VWAPs, like if you've seen the Futures 2.0 course on ASFX TV here, over here. Like I said, we got all the live streams, but if you go to Futures 2.0, we have the key levels, but the VWAP and indicator setup, so a little bit more detailed than this, but as well as all-time high VWAP, trading with the news VWAP, keys to remember, everything like that. But you can see on this candle here at the open, we have a break above the news VWAP and yesterday's New York that you might be wanting to long it right then and there. That where on the regular trading hours, we're only 2 minutes into the day. I don't know if this long is going to be sustained or is it going to pull right back down. But from the electronic view, you could say, well, we have higher highs and higher lows. Buyers are stepping back in from this news, holding a nice little support here, right? So maybe you're carrying that long bias in from pre-market into the open, and you're able to long it a little bit earlier. And then once the high a day comes in, now I'm using those high a day VWAPs, and even looking at this, look how well this pullback comes back to the news VWAP, right? So it doesn't come all the way back down to New York, but does come down to the news. So those are really the key ones I use is a New York VWAP from today, of course. The high of day and low of day is always going to be my entry reasoning and everything like that. That's the bread and butter. You can't have a trade without a high of day or low of day if you up on. And then sometimes a news like a FOMC, NFP, CPI. I'm not just doing any 8:30 a.m. Eastern candle like a unemployment claims. It's not important enough. But I think just even keeping it simple of regular trading hours like this, clear trend, high a day. I'm looking for a retest to a key level and a break of a high a day VWAP. And this one does work. You just have to be patient, 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 and it finally pops for you. Now, some other examples are obviously going to be in that Futures 2.0 course, like I'm saying. To just shamelessly plug it, there's many, many markups in it that explain it maybe a little bit more detailed of the charts with text on it if you don't pick up like my voice learning here. But trading with the all-time high, the VWAP breaks and the VWAP bounces, so you get to see the actual specific setups, kind of like what we talked about in the previous one on NQ here, where it breaks above the opening range high. I'm not chasing that. I'm taking it over here, right? Just because that's the strategy. That's the inducement over here, trying to trap me in long, stop me out, and then move higher without me. And so now when you look at it even like this, put on the New York VWAP and then change it to black. If you don't have the VWAP automated, I don't know why you wouldn't. But yeah, it's very, very simple. Hopefully this clears things up for how I'm marking the high of day and how I classify a pullback. I speak highly of that in the course as well as on the streams and in the Blacksher Club of I'm not looking to take a high day break like this. I like to see a more significant pullback, either of time duration and or point duration. So something like this is clearly a pullback where this one's kind of just like a little U. It's a little pullback, but think about it in is that going to show up on a 15-minute candle? Probably not. That probably is all the same 15-minute candle. Or when it pulls back from 11:06 to 11:45, that's 40 minutes. That'll show up as a red candle on the 15, aka a pullback. Maybe we are ready to move higher now, right? Where this is not a pullback, it's all the same 15-minute candle, deciding where it wants to go, deciding where it wants to go, and then it goes higher. So there's really no breath in there or buyers taking a break. So to become more picky, I'm just looking for bigger pullbacks, right? So the bigger the better, honestly. Where something like this all the way down to a New York view up, I'm looking to buy it over here now rather than take these little U's. But to each their own. I'm a lot more picky than most, and hopefully you'll want to adopt that to avoid more losers. But hope you found value in this video. If you have any other questions of what VWAPs I use, how do I anchor them, which ones maybe aren't as important to me, how do I cut them out, how do I know which ones to use on a given day, drop it in the comments. Always feel free to reach out to me. I appreciate you guys tuning in. Reminder to subscribe so you don't miss tomorrow's video every morning at 11 a.m. And let's continue this great series. I appreciate everyone always tuning in and leaving feedback. And I know you guys are enjoying the thumbnails. So let's keep pushing. I'll see you guys on the desk tomorrow morning.